Welcome, everyone, to our Friday, the Owners Club strategy session. I'm here with Mike Zakarian from Team Hold. We've been ping-ponging these shows back and forth on the Team Hold channel and on my channel every week. And Mike, we have lots of fun stuff going on. We have Thursday action. We have a new contest announced for the playoffs and lots of strategy to get into for week 13 here.
Yeah, I'm ready to see what I have to overspend on Friday. That's usually been my go-to. It's like instead of trying to plan ahead, I wait till the results come in and then overpay.
I know I'm kind of sitting on my hands a little bit, and then I get these G chat messages from you. You're like, I'm ready to blast off on the next thing.
I treat my TOC balance in the same way that I treat my ETH, and it's like I'll just save this until tomorrow when I blast it off. So, I did it. We can talk about it, but I've already blasted off today, but not on last night's action. I blasted off on some. I'm ready on some news. I blasted off on some news.
Wait, I knew it was your birthday this week. Is it your birthday today?
It's today, man.
Dude, happy birthday.
Thank you. I wouldn't want to spend it anywhere else.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is what we do. Do you have plans for tonight? You guys going out?
Yeah, go little dinner tonight with the fiance, and then tomorrow we just picked a spot that we normally hang out at and invited some friends. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, man.
Very good. But nothing would be a birthday prize like binking this live final, right?
Well, we only have 4 more tries, right?
I know we're running out of tries. It's getting hard.
I know. And I'm glad I haven't been keeping track of what I've spent and what I've recouped for this Miami trip, because I don't want to see what number it looks like. But the Miami trip would help. I think it would put us back in the green.
It would definitely help. Yeah. I mean, for me, I continue to have profitable weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I just still haven't had one of those top 10 finishes. I've had a bunch of top 50s, but just not anything in that top 10. You've had a top 10 finish, right?
I think I had a 15. I had a top 15, and then I've done well in the side hustle a couple of times, but screw that. We're going for Miami. I don't want any side hustle cash. Give me the main event.
Yeah, it's all Miami. And let's start here with the Thursday night recap, because some fairly interesting scores. And we can, talk about this through the lens of kind of projections for this week. But, the things that stand out to me, obviously Dallas defense at 21 is a smash. I would say even New Orleans wide receiver at 32.6 is very, very nice. And then for me, Dallas wide receiver and New Orleans QB, I would say, are right on that fringe. What's your kind of lean on those as far as main event?
It's funny. I though Dallas wide receiver, I'm not playing. I don't think not in the main event. I don't think that's making the cut for me. But when I was looking, I assumed my thought was going to be New Orleans quarterback wasn't going to make it. And then I was looking back at last week and thinking about the conversation that we had, and Josh Allen put up 36, and we're like, probably a top 3, but I bet some other people sniff it. I don't think anyone else hit 30 last week. No. And I know last week was probably an outlier. It was a pretty gross slate, but it just stood out to me that yes, we can, think that we're going to have a bunch of guys blast off, but I don't know. I mean, that one might be more in play too, because I don't think a lot of people are going to run it out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, last week you had the top 4 teams all had Josh Allen or Buffalo QB at 36.7, but then you had some Raiders QB at 29, you had some Rams QB at 29, top 10 team had Chargers QB at 25. So the way I've been thinking about it too is just you don't have to have the nut play. You just have to be within a band, and you can make up your points at other positions. And so to me, I think New Orleans QB is definitely in play here in combinations.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it some more too, where I think if this was reversed, if these teams were reversed and it was the Dallas QB that put up 28, I think more people would run that out, and then I'd be less likely to play it. But because I don't think people are excited to roll out a New Orleans quarterback, even though they put up 28 points. I think they're like, oh, well, I have Mahomes or I have Josh Allen, so maybe I'll roll that one out instead.
Yeah, and just I always like to kind of give people a benchmark frame of reference to, and we can dig into some of the projections a little bit more later, but just to give you an idea, the top projected quarterback I had was Baltimore QB at 24.1. We tend to see, obviously, these are median projections. The top plays tend to go over those. But New Orleans quarterback at 4 points over the top projected, that's in range for me. Now, New Orleans wide receiver, they barely eclipse LA wide receiver, who's the top projection right now at 31.9. Cincy right there behind them at 28.8. I'm thinking New Orleans wide receiver, probably no chance it's the top scoring wide receiver, but probably like a lock for top 6, I would say.
Think so. Yeah, I would think so. And I think it's a high enough score too that I don't think, I mean, like, I don't see, like, unless it's a 45, 50 point score, right? Like the 32 is going to be within range. Like it's going to be close, I think. So yeah, I'm with you. I think those two are playable. And then obviously the Dallas defense, but you know, what's crazy too, and we can like look at the marketplace in a little bit. Those New Orleans pieces are still very affordable.
Yes, they are. And I had updated. So a little thing I do in my spreadsheet here is compare the current week's projections versus the low ask in the marketplace. So TOC kindly made it available that you can download the low ask from the marketplace. And then I just like to compare low ask to projection and kind of just find my own little points per dollar metric. And the number one value right now is New Orleans wide receiver. I see low ask at $30 in the marketplace, and 32.6 points looks really nice. And then New Orleans QB put up 28.66. They're $25, and you're getting Taysom Hill going forward, most likely. Both New Orleans plays look like great buys if you're trying to round out some solid main event teams.
Yeah, and like you could see in the Dallas defense, like the price of the performance the night before has already been factored in. And so like you're not getting the same deal as you are. I was like, Saints quarterback will probably be like 50, $60, and the wide receiver, same thing. So to see those where they are, I mean, I do think, like we were just saying, with both the quarterback and the wide receiver are playable this week. And for that to be like one of the cheaper things out there feels nice.
And yeah, and again, we talk about it each week. Like it depends what your specific goals are. But if you are someone who has, let's say a set of cards where, you're making 2 really good main event lineups a week, but you're struggling to put together the really good third one. I mean, these are kind of the spots I think to take advantage of, because just based on the projections and the prices, like they are underpriced for their potential return on investment. Like those cards give you a chance to win the main event, and that's worth something at this point.
Absolutely. And I think did you lose me?
I slipped on my armrest for a second. I just started falling. I scared myself.
I'm still so gun shy after last week's audio and visual performance. I was like, God damn it, not again. Yeah, and even like, so you're right. Like that's giving you a better chance, I think, at winning the whole thing. I also think that's giving you a pretty good chance at cashing too. Like 28 points from your quarterback is going to put you in range. Again, it's going to put you in a good spot, I think.
And like you were saying, last week was a super gross slate when I was inputting my cash lines in my, DraftKings contest. It was the lowest cash line of the entire year. This week, obviously the safe bet is that there's more scoring, but when you look at kind of the projected game totals, I mean, the game last I looked, and I can pull it up here. There was only one team over a 50-point total, and that's that Tampa Bay Atlanta game. Obviously, most of it on the Tampa Bay side. You have that Chargers Cincy game at a 50 over under, Washington LV Las Vegas at 50. So you have like 3 at 50, but we have nothing separating in a 55, 56 type total this week.
Yeah. And I was thinking like of the popular stacks that like to get run out there, and Buffalo's really the only one that stood out, but they're in a tough spot this week too. So like some of the high end plays that have the chance of like breaking the slate are in really gross spots. So I think again, like a 29 or 28 point score from New Orleans is pretty in play.
Yeah, so I just pulled up the projections here, just so you guys know. These baseline projections are complements of ETR, so these are Leone's projections, and then I, hack them together to get the true team projections to give us, actual TOC relevant projections. And you can see the optimal here right now, as it stands, includes the New Orleans stack as well as the Dallas defense, and our projected optimal right now would be 123.46. But like you said, not a lot of other separation from certain position groups up there. I guess you could say Indianapolis running back separating more than we've seen running back separate.
Yeah, that one stood out a little bit. Although in San Francisco, not too far behind. But what is your thought process with the Dallas defense? Do you think you're going to need it this week?
I was just because I was frantically updating my stuff right before I came on, and I was like, shit, I want the Dallas defense.
I know.
It's tough. I mean, when we look at, previous defenses, that's clearly on the upper end. Like, I would bet that ends up, that's like a lock to be top 2 on the week for defense.
So yeah, and the way I approach it is, I was like, I've already gone down this road. I've already dropped $500,000 on New England defenses, so I can't do this again. But the news broke that Daniel Jones is going to be out this weekend, and so I did a little floor sweep of the Miami defense, because I was trying to think, like, who can put up a similar size score for Dallas, like who's like best chances of a pick six. Miami D's already like solid in a pretty good matchup, and now getting a backup quarterback, I was like, is that how we can do it? And it was like, wait, I'd rather spend, like, I think it was $15 on that than $100 on Dallas.
Yeah, my thought is, like, from a true ROI perspective, I don't think you're gonna get your ROI buying the Dallas defense most of the time. However, if you are like us and just have that, direct vision of, I want this goddamn live final seat, like, it's one of the best ways to, increase your chances this week. I will say, just looking in the market, though, the reason it's so tough to spend that kind of money on the defense right now, at, well, let me see, what are they at? $86.
Oh, it's come down. It's come down. Undercutting.
Your undercutters? Yeah, please keep coming. If that hits, I don't know, 65, is that my number?
Yeah, I'm probably in range already. Now
it's just me and my spider bees refreshing the marketplace. I can give you guys the best values that I'm seeing. It's funny you mentioned, who did you mention? Miami. Yeah. And so the only reason I think they are a little bit more expensive is because they're coming off of that monster week last week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too.
Because it's funny, because the top value I'm seeing right now in the marketplace for defense relative to projection is actually on the other side. The Giants project decently, and they're $6. And so if you are on the same thing, if you're just trying to piece together a lineup that has a legit chance, and you want to go buy New Orleans QB, New Orleans wide receiver, and the New York Giants defense, and you can put that together for less than $50, those are the kind of things where I'm like, you're not sacrificing that much.
Right. No, that makes sense. Wait, one of the other things too that I saw today that I was surprised, I was trying to find, like, are there any other spots that are super undervalued? And one thing I saw, Dallas is so wildly overpriced with some stuff. Guess what the low ask, and this is after the performance we saw last night, the low ask of the Dallas running back.
Oh my God. I accidentally just reflexively started to cheat by filtering my spreadsheet. I will guess that the low ask is 140.
Okay. All right. Well, that's high. It was 86, but I thought it was going to be like in the 40s, especially after last night. Like, I just thought so many people were going to be getting ready to flip it after last night's performance, and then they didn't really get there.
But I don't think, like, just how my brain works with it. And like, it's almost like it shouldn't move, right? The value of the backfield, because, like, for fantasy players, we're all wrestling between Zeke and Tony Pollard, but for TOC, you're getting all of those points. You don't have to guess if Pollard's ripping off the big play or Zeke's getting the goal line carries. You just get them all. So I understand why sentiment might actually increase if Pollard's getting more big play opportunities.
That's true too. And DJ Local too, I think you referenced this in regards to the defense, but they'll be in the playoffs as well. And that is definitely something to take into consideration, right? If you're secure in those playoff moments already.
Yeah, for sure. And we should mention that I'm sure Mike and I will dig into it more on future shows, but TOC did announce their playoff contest. It's a super cool format. It's a set it and forget it where you can roll out 2 players from each position plus 1 flex, and you can't adjust it at all. So you're playing throughout the entire playoffs. If anyone has played like the FFPC playoff contest or even the underdog style contest, you draft one team the entire playoffs. So we're now at that point where you're starting to look at some of these teams, wild card odds, all of that stuff. I'm definitely excited to build for that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. And it'll just be interesting to see like how the marketplace reacts to that too. Like if some people are like, oh, you know what, I've had fun, I think I'm gonna flip some of my stuff now, or if we just see the prices continue to stay like pretty high because there's gonna be a lot of excitement around it.
Yeah, the initial thing that I was thinking about is in previous years we've had 1 and 2 seeds that looked more dominant.
Yeah, we don't have
And
that.
we don't have that. And so in these playoff contests, there's always I mean, you and I have built those FFPC teams over there, and you and I are always like, okay, Seattle Seahawks in the wild card game. What if Russ Wilson just runs like God and takes it to the Super Bowl? Because you're thinking I get 4 games of a high powered offense. That's going to be out of control in these contests this year because the wild card teams are going to look so sexy.
Right, especially if you're going to see like Mahomes in the wild card round or something, right? Like I was thinking about that the other day, by the way, about how many times Russ has burned us on that thought process where like if we had just taken that same approach with Derrick Henry, we'd be rich. But we refused to play him.
Seriously, it's the same thing. You know what? I was like, I was even looking at this slate. This was before, I think it was even before Seattle played on, was it Monday night?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Seattle double stacks this week. Like I want it to be a thing again so much. There's something about Russ to Metcalf and Lockett that you just want.
I know you want it. And then Metcalf like doesn't get targets. So, but he is ready for NFL all day. So
Tom in the marketplace scooping. We agree. I think that's an awesome value there. And I believe, do I have one of those? I don't know. I have New Orleans wide receiver.
I think you get one. You told me to get one before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go buy one right now. Actually,
there you go.
I just influenced myself. Yeah. So Mike, will you vamp why I make this purchase?
Yeah, absolutely. On there. I saw Alex says I need to blast off on Dallas D. I want to go to Miami. Listen, I'm for the move. Just know, as someone who blasted off on 3 New England defenses a couple weeks ago, you're not guaranteed to go. You're not guaranteed to go. I like that though. I like it. I think I'm going to end up buying one Dallas D. I just want at least one shot at it. One of the games that I'm excited to talk about though, as it relates to TOC, the Cincinnati Chargers game. I'm curious how popular that's going to be in a lot of these builds. Cause I know with Kansas City coming off a bye, I think people will be excited to jam them in. And I like, Joe Mixon's turned into a superstar and the Chargers suck against the run. And I kind of want to play that game so many different ways where I think like I think the Chargers wide receivers in a good spot. The Bengals wide receivers in a good spot. Obviously the quarterback's in a good spot. The running back, like that whole game is pretty enticing.
Yeah. It is very enticing too. And like you said, I don't know if there is like a super chalk build this week. People are still going to be excited to run out their KC stacks. I assume, one strategy we've seen too is I've seen a little bit of the onslaughts, where people do Tampa Bay QB wide receiver and running back and tight end. I wonder if you could see that with the Rams this week, just because they have such a juicy spot against the Jags. Like you roll out QB, running back, and wide receiver there. But I agree with you. I like that game a lot. I have the thing that's hard for me, what I'll probably do? I'll probably run out. It's hard deciding between Cincy running back and Cincy wide receiver.
I know.
So I don't know. Do you have a lean on that? My stack would be, I have the LAC QB wide receiver and then Cincy running back.
I think that's what you do. My lean is the Cincy running back, although I'm always more likely to play the wide receiver than I am the running back. Just because I think my DFS brain is broken where I'm like, wide receiver has a higher ceiling. But they really like letting Joe Mixon run. And he's been really good. And the Chargers D line isn't solid. So I think they're in a really good spot. But I think I have access to all 3 of those, the quarterback, the wide receiver, and the running back. I don't think I'm going to play them all in the same lineup, but I am running out Bengals lineup, and then I'm running out the running back probably with like a Lamar Jackson or a Ram stack maybe.
Yeah. My big, I don't have a Tampa Bay quarterback wide receiver stack, but I do have tight end and running back. And I think I will definitely be using both of those in one, kind of just from that GPP, leverage standpoint. If people are going to be rolling out that stack, if it fails and it all goes through Fournette again, if it fails and it goes through, Gronk has 2 TDs, I kind of like those as leverage plays.
It is crazy in 2021, after retiring and coming back, Gronk is still projecting higher than Kelsey.
It's absolutely wild. Yeah.
It's insane. I was so shocked to see that.
Yeah, and obviously this projection is baking in the fact that Tampa Bay utilizes second and third tight ends more than KC does. So he has, he's getting Howard and Brait's points here. But it is, and they just have such a massive implied team total against the Falcons there. The question is, if you do have the Tampa Bay stack, are you running it back with Atlanta running back with how well Patterson, or are you just worried that the Falcons might not get there?
Listen, I am 0 for 2 in the last 2 weeks in figuring out whether to use my Atlanta running back card, because I have a couple of those, ran it out 2 weeks ago, and the Falcons got ran off the field. And then last week, he looked like he was the only one who showed up for Atlanta last week. So, I don't know. I'm actually, this might be a bad take, but I might be using those cards in the side hustle and not the main event. Because I think I'm rooting for that game not to go crazy, because I think a lot of excitement's going to be around that game. So, and I don't know. I think I'm too gun shy with Brady's upside as their quarterback, where I think he can like spread it around so everyone else gets there. Him getting there, when you have options like Lamar and like Jalen Hurts or whomever, I feel like there's, although is Philly off this week?
No, Philly plays the Jets.
Okay. Yeah. So like those guys, I feel like have a higher ceiling, but
this is a week too, just kind of like looking at the spreads and the over unders of these games. It does make me want to lean more toward correlating and just hoping that you catch the game that goes bonkers, because you look at like Indianapolis, they're 10-point favorites. So obviously Colts running back looks awesome. I feel like probably maybe, and same with Tampa Bay, 11-point favorites. All of their cards look awesome. The trickiest one to me is probably Washington, Las Vegas.
I know.
Because what are you using from that game?
So I was toying around with this morning, and I went and scooped up a Washington running back, because I think it was like $10 on the marketplace. And I was like, I know they're going to project well. I was messing around with doing, like, if I played a Lamar or a Baltimore or Philly quarterback, of doing then like the Washington running back and Las Vegas wide receivers, because I don't trust the tight end, just because if Waller comes back, I don't know how healthy he is. I don't think Moreau's going to have enough like volume for that to make sense. And the Raiders wide receivers, again, like we've talked about it, have been like sneaky good the last like 5 weeks.
They have been. Yeah, it's just tough. You see here from a projection standpoint, they don't project super well. Las Vegas, middle of the road, even Washington running back, middle of the road. And similar to kind of our Zeke Pollard conversation, as much as I like this spot for Gibson, it does stink to not also have McKissick's points, because I don't know, you think through, if you're an offensive coordinator or whatever, it's like, okay, well, maybe we're, drawing up a Logan Thomas fade route instead of a JD McKissick, checked out. Like, you are sacrificing some of those running back points you normally get.
Well, and maybe that's it right there. Do we see the Washington tight end be more of a thing this week?
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, I think, to me, they look like the GPP play of the TOC this week, where the Vegas total is implying that we could see a ton of points. Projections aren't going to look favorably on any one specific position group. But if you want to take stabs on, this would probably be a perfect game to go like a naked, Baltimore QB, naked Philly QB, and then use Washington running back, Las Vegas wide receiver, something like that.
Yeah, and that's the direction I was thinking of going, because I'm not interested in playing either of those quarterbacks, but I do feel like those two positions specifically still have some ceiling. If Vegas is right and they score that many points.
Yeah, let's quickly talk about some low ball stuff, and then we'll bring our guest Tea Time on here to wrap up with a giveaway and building some lineups here. But Thursday, as usual, gave us some great candidates for low ball. New Orleans running back 2.6. You can see here this is updated with their actual points. Dallas tight end 4.3. I mean, New Orleans running back is an absolute lock there for low ball.
Yeah, that's in there. That's 100% in there. What do you think if you were running out a quarterback? I don't know. Maybe the Patriots fan in me, I'm looking at these projections. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Mac Jones is going to light it up.
Well, I do think it's a fragile projection because if we've seen New England get to play their brand of football, right? Very run heavy. Mac Jones has looked very confident, doesn't make mistakes, but can the Bills get a lead here and force him to throw more? You see, I don't own that card. I'm not rushing to buy New England quarterback for low ball. I'm happy to play Dalton. You see Dallas QB there low. I don't know if I'll play Dallas QB in low ball because I have a feeling Jets, Detroit, Pitt, Jacksonville could come in lower.
Yeah, no, that's where I would lean too. That's where I would lean as well. I know I have a Jets quarterback and a Detroit quarterback, so I'll be running those out before I run out Dak.
Yeah. All right, let's get over here. I know Tea Time is he said he was switching computers. He's going to join us, but maybe we could start building a little.
Yeah. I need to figure out what to do with my Joker this week again. So that's going to be that's our weekly Joker segment.
Why don't you
do it?
Yeah, why don't we pull, you want to screen share yours here?
Yep. Let me see if we get the right thing here. I think I was looking at the marketplace.
Okay.
All right, so let's go over to main event. Can you see that all right?
Yeah.
I should blow it up.
Yeah, you could zoom a little bit.
All right, here we go. Oh yeah, we're at 80. That's not going to cut it.
No.
All right, so we start with our QB situation. So we've got, look at this. We're just stacked here, quarterback.
So let's do the Baltimore conversation real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have Baltimore tight end?
Yes.
Okay. And they project like sixth best. Do you bring him along for the ride, or do you run naked?
This is why I think I bring him along for the ride, because I usually rely pretty heavily on Dallas tight end. So we get a Baltimore, Chicago, Dallas, like the Raiders, but I don't love it this week unless we get, positive news about Waller.
I think Waller's not going to play.
Yeah. So a lot of these, like New England's actually not terrible, but I don't love that matchup. But like a lot of these are like, I got to roll in the end zone guys, right? Like Los Angeles, Washington, like you need a touchdown, where I do think Mark Andrews can still go, 6 for 80, even if he doesn't get in the end zone.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there, if you're using Baltimore wide receiver, there's so much opportunity cost at wide receiver, but at tight end, it's like you really just you win this if you get the 2 touchdown Mark Andrews game.
Right. And if
that's what you're doing.
Right. Exactly. And if I get 1 touchdown, we're still live. Like that's not killing me,
Yeah.
And 2 touchdowns, we're laughing everybody.
The only counter argument is just that game has like a shitty implied total there at 44, but the Ravens are on the good side of it. Their team totals 24. But like, if you want to compare it to the Bucks, the Bucks have a 30-point implied team total. So that's why Gronk in Tampa Bay tight end is going to project so much better. But I do think in this context, I think that's how I'd play it.
Yeah, I know. I think that makes sense. Or the other option is to go shopping. So you
don't need to twist. It is your birthday, Mike.
That's right. So Coop, if you're watching, I'm waiting for the airdrops.
Mike, maybe I'll buy you a KC tight end for your birthday.
All right. So over at running back, again, we got a couple of Atlantas. The Cincinnati one is pretty nice.
Yeah. Do you have, so this where I now start to think is, say I am going to use my Cincy running back with an LA type stack. Are there any of your favorite running back plays, but you don't love the game? Obviously, Indianapolis running back would kind of be the best for that example.
Yeah, that's a good example. Like Minnesota, I kind of like that game, but I think if I was going to play Minnesota, I'd want to play it from the air side of things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a good, like they still use their running backs in the passing game. There's a lot of like screens and stuff. So I like that. I think the Los Angeles one is kind of contrarian, right? I think it's going to be popular, but I definitely think the quarterback wide receiver is going to be, utilized a little bit more, but I just don't, it seems nuts to play this card over like a Minnesota running back or Cincinnati, really.
So my only issue with the LA thing is Darrell Henderson hasn't been practicing.
I didn't know. I
And
did not know
so,
that.
yeah, if he was, fully healthy or if he is good to go, I'll feel very good about using Los Angeles running back because, again, going back to the tournament strategy, I'm guessing the field is going to feel far more comfortable using LA QB, LA wide receiver, and that would be a pretty sharp play because they project really well. They project as a top 4 running back, but I think you have to monitor the Henderson news. But yeah, I'd say, from projections, the top Indiana, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Rams, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Minnesota.
Yeah, I think we just throw Cincinnati in here and make our best lineup, unless I'm saving my Cincinnati for my New Orleans lineup. But because I do have a New Orleans stat, I do have like the New Orleans quarterback and wide receiver. But I
like that Cincy play. So now, what are you thinking here for Joker wide receiver? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Where's my Joker?
Is this where Mike says he has a card but doesn't actually?
No. Oh, you know what I think? I think I listed it for like an absurd amount to see if I could. Just like
I think I've only ever listed one thing, and so it comes out of your.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog is dreaming in the background. I was like, what the hell's happening? Yeah, when you list it, you can't use it, so I'd have to delist it.
Okay.
But it is there, and you can get it for.
So who would you? Let's use our imagination here. Would you use it on? Do you have LA wide receiver?
Yes, I believe. Yeah, I have the Chargers here. I also have the Rams wide receiver, but I don't think I want to use the Rams wide receiver here because I do have the Rams quarterback. And obviously, go ahead.
I know. I'm just thinking I would probably use. I think Rams wide receiver.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I think Rams or Chargers. Chargers gives you the correlation. Rams give you the better projected game.
Yeah, and I think with the Baltimore, I don't think I have to worry too much about getting weird. Here we're just trying to get the most points. So yeah, maybe, and I can just throw this one in here so people can see it, right? So we throw that. That was the Los Angeles one you were talking about, right? The Rams, not the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Rams I have projected at 31.9. The Chargers are down at 24.1. So it's a pretty significant gap. You are losing out on the correlation, though.
Yeah.
But let's see here. And then defense.
Defense, you can see we swept the floor in Miami.
Oh my God, you bought 4 Miami.
No, I bought 3. I forgot I had one.
Okay.
So we got a couple Buffs, Detroit, a couple Indies, some KC. And those New England buys. The Giants one you talked about, which we thought could be a little sneaky, and then Philly, which actually Philly's probably in a decent spot as well. Man, I
do think the Miami. And this is like the same thing here of like the GPP thing. Do you want to lock button a play? Like lock buttoning a defense, and if they're the defense that puts up 28 points like they did last week, I mean, you have a massive advantage.
Right. And we had that advantage when we did it with New England, but so did everyone else with the foresight of knowing how many points they already secured, right? But with the Dolphins, if you make a call like this, even like the Joker, if I run the same wide receiver out 2 times, one that I already have, and then run it out again, all of a sudden, if you're right, you got multiple cracks at it. And again, Miami. This is the play, right? We lock in the Miami defense to go to Miami.
Right. And, if you throw out kind of like Dallas's outsized, score, like basically if Miami is able to match, you're pretty close to kind of an optimal from a projected standpoint. You're giving up about like 14 points, which again makes sense just based on how kind of the ceiling stuff works relative to median projection. So to me, this is like a very strong lineup.
There we go. Easy money.
Speaking of easy money, I don't know why I said speaking of easy money. Mike, you bring in your guy. You're
tea time. Welcome to Tea Time to the Streets. I want to shout out over at Team Hold. He came on our stream on Wednesday to rip a Series 1 pack and handled ripping a rondo more graciously or gracefully than I would have. I know that. What's up, man?
How you guys doing? Yeah, that rondo's still hurting me today. I'm not gonna lie. It sunk in the next day right afterwards. It's still fun to rip it with you guys.
Were you just disgusted that Mike got the influencer Series 1 pack?
Yeah, that was my pack. I gave it to Mike. And then he ended up ripping it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very, very kind of you. Very generous. It's a sweet birthday present. But
Just
yeah,
looking out.
Tea Time's been like super active in our TOC channel and has been crushing the content and making sick lineups throughout. So, and not only did you want to come on and build a lineup today, but you were also offering an opportunity for someone to take home a Moam today. Is that right?
Yeah, you know what? I thought, like, with Top Shot and everything, we're always giving away stuff for Top Shot. And, the TOC guys, they do a good job of giving away stuff on their streams, but we don't really see anything outside of that. So I thought, hey, why not do a giveaway for the community?
Man for the people. Man for the people.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mike is just over here hoarding defenses. It's nice to have someone who's willing to give back finally. No, so how are we going to do this, Tea Time? What are you thinking?
I have a couple dupes. There's one on buy right now. I'm thinking, I don't know if you guys, I got the Carolina running back that's on buy right now. I got that as a dupe. I got a couple other dupe cards. That's probably on the better end of what I want to give. I got a dupe Tampa Bay QB, guys. Sorry, I'm keeping that one. Playoffs are coming around.
I think even without McCaffrey, Panthers running back, they're home next week against the Falcons. So I'm going to guess that they're going to project pretty well. Their schedule is tough after that, at Bills and then home versus the Bucks, but you could get one really nice start next week against the Falcons. How are we going to do this, T?
For sure. I wanted to do a wheel. I don't think we got time for that. So what I'm thinking is, I got a question for everybody in the chat. If they can get the answer to this, we'll give away the Carolina RB. And it's going to be, where did Chuba Hubbard go up?
Where did he grow up? Ooh.
And is it on our system, or should they not Google? Is this, or just first who can get it in the chat?
First, who I can't see the chat right now. So whoever you guys see first, bring it in. You guys let me know, but I'll throw the answer out here in a sec here. We'll let some answers roll.
First person to answer this gets a Carolina. I got a Canada. Is that correct?
Yes, we want to be a little more specific.
Yeah,
than
that. I love that Tea Time.
We're looking for a city.
Don't give them the easy way out.
We need a city, guys. Lots of Canadas, but we need a city.
Can't name a whole ass country.
Alberta is not a city. I got a Sherwood.
Yes, he ended up there afterwards, but yeah, okay, very close. It's in the same region. We'll take that.
We'll take Sherwood.
We'll take Sherwood. So he grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm from Calgary, Alberta myself. He grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, a couple of hours away from me. And Sherwood is just outside the city on the outskirts, so we'll count it.
Here's what I'm going to do. I also have multiple Carolina running backs. Brian was right in here sandwiched with an Alberta Edmonton. So Brian, I am going to give you Carolina moment. So reach out to shoot me a message in Discord or on Twitter, and I'll connect with Tea Time and Mike, and we'll get you guys figured out and get you hooked up. So thank you.
Very generous of you, man.
Hopefully you guys can utilize the card. I mean, after what happened with McCaffrey, it's kind of an L, and having Cam back, him stealing touchdowns and stuff, it's kind of hurting the card, but like, hopefully it has a nice ending to it. You can utilize the card and then get rid of it if you need to.
There you go. All right. You want to share screen? Should we build a lineup for you before we get out of here?
Let's do this. Give me 1 sec here.
Yeah. Take time. Have you had any close calls?
In terms of what?
Sorry, with making a run?
With life or death scenarios.
No, like a deep run in one of the main events?
Actually, yeah. What was it? In week 8, I think it was. I finished 9th.
Ooh.
That's the best finish I've had so far. Everything I've made off of TOC, though, like I've probably gotten in the $750 to $1,000 range. I've thrown it all back into the site.
Yeah, same.
Join the club.
Yeah.
The three of us have allowed TJ and Justin to retire.
I literally started the show saying I was going to sit on my hands, and then 20 minutes later, I was buying New Orleans QB. I did get it, by the way. I think the floor is way up now.
There we go. Swept it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
You guys got me?
We got it.
Zoom though. You're on that mic build for ants over here. My username is, I will paste it in the chat there. We'll get it figured out. If Brian, if you're not in the Deposit Kingdom Discord, you can hop in there. The link should be down below, or I'm in the Team Hold Discord as well. You could ping me over there.
All right, guys, how do we want to start this? What are we guys thinking? I saw you guys building the main event for Mike's lineup. I was looking at a couple of things, and for the main events, everybody who is cashing not cashing, hitting that number one spot, we had 5 weeks where no stacks hit that top spot.
Whoa.
And we've only had 1 week where a run back was in the lineup, where we had a complete jet stack with the Indy run back, which absolutely killed. Other than that, I wanted to point out that between the quarterback and the wide receivers, we're not getting much action outside of the top, like the Tampa Bays, the Arizonas, the Rams, the Buffaloes. Like, we're not getting much outside of that Jets win that week.
Wow. So we should have done the show. I feel like we should have had that information.
Well, I'm curious because you guys play regular daily fantasy, so I'm curious what you guys think about in a 5-card slot, what a run back is like when we only have 5 slots to work with.
Yeah, and to me, it's even more pronounced in the same way in like DFS. Like, you don't want to force the bring back, right? If the bring back is super expensive or the team doesn't project to score a lot of points, like, you don't want to force it. It's when it kind of naturally aligns. And I do think trying to pick your spots with it, like the Tampa Bay passing game with Indianapolis running back, like to me, it's about trying to get one thing right and let that propel you. And so I do think there's examples where you don't want to force it. Like you said, maybe you don't bring the Atlanta running back card back because they might not score any points.
Right.
Whereas with this Cincy LA Rams game, like, if you get the Joe Mixon explosion game again, and that game shoots out, like, you probably want another piece of that game.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
I hear what you're saying. Over a 5-card sample and with standard scoring, the correlation isn't quite as strong, but just for my style, I think that's what gives me the best chance, as opposed to hitting a 5-card parlay, which is what you're doing otherwise.
Yeah. And it's so funny. I don't care about stacking when I'm playing my Baltimore card or my Philly quarterback card. But like, if I'm playing my Rams quarterback card, I'm like, well, I'm playing my Rams wide receiver card. Do you know what I mean? Like, for whatever reason, I mean, no, it's because, like, I know I can get a ceiling from the Philly and the Baltimore without a ceiling from the wide receiver, where I think if Stafford throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns, like, the wide receiver's getting 2 or 3 of those. And I feel like those hit together, you know?
Yeah. And I think to T-Time's point, it's the main stack has hit a good bit. Like, I'm just like, when you scroll through the QB to pass catcher, because that has just such a strong correlation. I think it's when you're getting into bringing it back with a running back or tight end, that's where it gets a little dicier on what is the actual correlation there.
Makes sense.
All right. So what are you thinking here? What's your preferred way to attack this?
So I took a little look at the slate here. With the cards that I'm running right now, I'm obviously looking at this Tampa Bay stack with the QB and the wide receiver right now. I don't know how I'm going to factor in these Thursday games yet, except for low ball currently. That wide receiver in New Orleans is interesting, just because it might not get you there as far as a top spot. It'll get you in the cash, I think. I don't think it's going to get you a top spot this week, though. And I have a joker here to use, and I don't know what I want to use it towards in terms of a position. But as for now, I'm thinking this Tampa stack. Where's my wide receiver here? Here we go.
For sure. There we go.
And I definitely would not run back the LA or the Atlanta running back card, simply because you're completely banking on Cordarrelle just getting mad passing, like mad receptions, lots of passing yards. We know the Tampa Bay defense is nice against the run, so that's not a run back I'd consider this week.
Yeah, I agree.
What are your other running back options right now?
So I'm stacked at running back, a lot, except for I don't have the Indy running back, and I was taking a look at this earlier. The Indy running back and the Cleveland running back, they average 3 points higher than the rest of the running backs, and then there's the rest fall within a similar range.
Yeah.
Dalvin's out. Don't know if I want to go with Madison there, to be honest with you.
I will say, I was just going to say, like, I do think the two best plays on the entire TOC slate this week is Dallas D and Indianapolis running back, as far as just like who's already separated or projects to separate the most. And then, like you're kind of talking out, it's pretty flat after that. San Francisco, Cincinnati, LA, Tampa Bay, Minnesota. So you kind of just have to pick your personal favorite there.
Yeah, and like we don't have the Cleveland running back this week, so that takes that off the board, obviously, and
that hurts.
Once with the running back, like if you go look at the research tab or whatever, that the separation between them is very little, and that's why we see running backs going for fairly similar price points. Even some of the better ones outside of like the Cleveland and Indiana, a lot of them go for the fairly similar price points. The $20 to $40 range, you see them creep up into the 50s sometimes.
Yeah.
But as far as a running back option, I'm not sure. Let's see what we got for the games here. Just off the top of my head, the Arizona versus Chicago doesn't look too bad.
I was just gonna say, how's Montgomery projecting? Is that like no?
He's not projecting well. 15.6, and the top guys are over 20.
Not gonna make it.
I was looking at it the other way, but I just remembered that Murray and Hopkins might be back this week.
Yeah. Although I know we got another like bullshit update today of like trending towards playing, but we'll see.
I know, same stuff there. I think
Washington.
The one thing I would say, you were mentioning Dalvin Cook being out. I don't think the Minnesota projection really changes at all. Madison's actually been better, especially in the passing game, than Dalvin Cook. So I don't think you're actually sacrificing anything from a Minnesota projection standpoint with Cook out.
Fair, no, for sure. I just with the way the offense has played out this year, they pass out a lot. Like their passing game is huge, and they don't, like, if you look at Cook's stats, he's not hitting like everybody projected preseason.
Yeah. All right, but you got to make a choice.
Well, what do you guys think? What do you guys think's a good option right now?
I would do San Francisco or Cincinnati would be my choices.
Oh, do you have a Cincinnati in there?
Actually, I don't know. I was looking at it earlier. I was going to buy it pre getting on the show, but I didn't.
Always pack your bags, buddy, before we go to the moon.
For the ones you have,
though,
what can you keep scrolling up? Like,
yeah. So I got double Arizona. I got a Chicago, Dallas. We got Denver, Detroit. Swift's out, so we got Williams playing here. Jacksonville, Vegas, Rams, Miami, Minnesota. Yeah,
I really do think Minnesota's your best play out of those.
Yep.
I mean, let's run it. Let's pop it in there for now. Let's see how it looks at the end here. For the tight ends, I'd love to run the triple stack, like the double stack, I guess, with the Tampa Bay tight end. But I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. It's also why I don't like the run backs. The San Francisco tight end potentially, or the Philly tight end.
Yeah, I think I'd go San Francisco there. I know, like, he took a dookie last week, but I still, especially with no Debo, I mean, he should at least get a ton of targets, I would think.
I like San Francisco tight end a lot.
Yeah, I do too. For defense, I don't have the Dallas defense. That thing popped before I could buy. But where was it here? Who was I just looking at? Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore playing Pittsburgh. I'm
Yeah.
not like Pittsburgh's offense absolutely is brutal this year. Passing, running, even like Najee Harris is putting up yardage, but he's not. The touchdowns aren't there. It's subpar in terms of scoring when it comes to the rest of the running backs.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that Baltimore defense in there.
No, I like that. I like the Baltimore defense. I like that a lot.
Oh,
this looks good,
there
man.
we have it, guys. Look at that.
There
That's
we
a
go.
nice squad.
Yeah,
Very
dude.
nice squad.
Thank you
Mike,
again for coming on and doing this, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Thank you guys for having me. It's fun. I like discussing this stuff and building lineups and stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. And I think I just got a message from Brian to redeem his Carolina card, and I believe it's FF Doom will be getting in contact with you. We'll make sure to make that connection. Thanks again for doing the giveaway. Mike, any other plugs for you, Team Hold stuff here as we go out?
No, we got nothing for the weekend. We're off for the weekend. Just come hang out next week. If if Top Shot content's still happening and come Monday, then we'll be there. But who knows? Who knows?
Guys, go wish Mike a happy birthday.
Hey,
yes,
thanks,
Mike.
Man.
Have a very happy birthday. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I will keep the streams rolling today. Here in 5 minutes, we're going live with Splash Play, Spags, and we're having Greg from Awesemo on the show. If you guys want to watch us negotiate our way through bold predictions for Week 13, we'll be back next week for the TOC Challenge recap, preview, all that good stuff on Mike's channel over at Team Hold. Make sure you guys are subbed up over there. And we each have TOC channels in their Discords if you guys want to talk about that and goad each other into spending money in the marketplace, which is what we tend to do. So thank you again to Tea Time. Thank you to Mike. Happy birthday. Thank you to the chat. Guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next time.